welcome to Real Estate 101 with Brooke Boone, and I am Brooke Boone. I am a licensed real estate agent. I service the entire tri-state area, that is Tennessee, Mississippi, and Arkansas. And one thing that sets me apart from other real estate agents is that I have an extensive background in mental health. And so today I have with me my very good friend, Montoya.
Hey, I'm Montoya McGowan. I am a licensed clinical social worker, also in the tri-state area. I am licensed in Tennessee. However, I am an international therapist and an international mindset coach. I am the host of Bougie Black Therapist podcast. And my business is Stopping the Chase Counseling and Consulting. I tag myself as the Bougie Boundaries Therapist because I help the strong friend. I help people who struggle with people pleasing and codependency, mostly entrepreneurs in their business and how it shows up in their family. And it also affects relationship and trauma. And so what I do is once they learn how to have healthy desires and expectations, it should be a luxury for people to have access to them.
Well, I heard that. That is cute and exciting, and I love it. And so, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and so I thought it was a great idea to have Montoya to join me so that we could kind of talk about some of the psychological factors that people face when they are buying a home or even selling a home. There is a lot that goes into purchasing a home. It is the most expensive purchase that most people will make, and so it does cause anxiety and depression. And so I wanted to speak with the expert today about that. And so I have a few questions, Montoya, that I would like to ask you. What are some things that you feel, some tips that you feel like maybe that could build confidence during the home buying process?
Well, I saw your first episode, and one of the things that you definitely said was getting a realtor who can help you through the process, who can help lessen the anxiousness that comes along with the process. And I purchased, I think, 3 homes. I've sold 1. And the last home that I purchased was one that I got built with you as my realtor. And so you were the, I think, 4th realtor that I had some type of business with. And after my experience with you, I was like, why aren't other agents like this? It just seemed like I didn't have to worry about the anxiousness stuff. I didn't have to worry about the small details. You kept me informed. You told me stuff before I needed to ask. And if it was something that you weren't okay with, I would just be like, well, Brooke will take care of it. And you did, and it was easy for you.
Absolutely.
So I was able to be chill and actually enjoy the process because I trusted you and you knew what you were talking about. And you also helped me with some things that I felt like I either didn't pay more attention to or needed to pay less attention to.
Okay, I like that. And so a lot of people are not as fortunate as you were, and I definitely appreciate the compliment. And that's the service that I try to provide to all of my clients. So for the people who are not as fortunate as you, who work with agents or who already have anxiety or depressive thoughts, I've heard some of my clients say, well, I thought that I would never be able to buy a home, or buying a home was, so stressful for me. I'm afraid to buy another home. I'm ready to move, but I don't want to go through that same process that I went through the first time. Mm-hmm. And so for clients who are facing feelings of anxiety or depressive thoughts, like what I just mentioned, What are some techniques that you feel would help alleviate some of those feelings of anxiety or those depressive thoughts?
I would say, first of all, shop around for a realtor who is complementary to your personality or complementary to what your needs are. Don't choose somebody because they have clout or because they are popular, because that doesn't necessarily mean that things are going to work out in your favor. And also be mindful of what your physical and emotional limitations are. So if you don't like a whole lot of notifications coming through your phone on a regular basis, or if you also need to know, like, what's your personality versus the person that you're working with. If you struggle with abandonment and neglect issues and this person is very busy and they're not available for you, then that may not be a good fit for you. And so choosing somebody who can help you feel more calm in the process, but knowing what your personal limitations are and being able to help them understand you and how you operate in life so that y'all can come together to work for the benefit of actually both of y'all.
I agree with that. So this may be a little controversial. We like controversial topics.
Absolutely.
So, as a person who has a successful business, how do you feel about people who hop on trends and use service providers just because of the notoriety that they may get from others? Kind of like you just said, clout chasing.
Yeah, the popular person. How do I feel about it?
Because I'm sure that you face some of this yourself. As a therapist,
Yeah.
of people, I know that you made a good point off camera when we were speaking earlier that popular doesn't mean private.
Popular doesn't mean private, and also popular doesn't mean profit. So popular people or people who are busy or have are based on clout, they may not be able to give you the time and the attention and educate you about the process in ways that you may feel like you need. And so sometimes popular doesn't always mean that it's the best if they aren't able to give you the things that you need to feel comfortable. Because purchasing a property and selling a property, these are life-changing things. There's a lot of happiness that comes along with it, but there's also a lot of grief and mourning in the process that you may not be prepared for. And having a realtor who can kind of usher you through that process makes a big difference.
I agree with that. And that's why I feel like these conversations are needed, so that people don't feel like, well, I have to work with this person because this person worked with this person. There is someone for everybody. I mean, I would love to be a realtor, but I've had to come to the conclusion that not everybody is a good fit for me to work with. And that's okay, because there is a large population of people that I will work great with.
Right.
And so it's very important because, and just to piggyback off of something that you said, it significantly decreases anxiety when you have someone that is walking you through step by step and that's educating you about what's going on, instead of someone that's just sending you paperwork to sign and they're saying, well, hey, sign this, and you have no idea what you're signing. And then when it comes back, you a month later, 30 days in or 3 weeks in, you didn't know that you were going to have to give temporary occupancy. You didn't know that you thought that maybe there was an option, but you didn't know that you actually did sign that you were going to you're selling your home and you're going to allow the buyers to stay in the home.
Like, I've purchased homes before, so I know what the process is. I kind of had an idea what to expect. But when it came to selling, it was a completely different mindset that I was not prepared for. And I didn't understand that there were little things that I needed to know. But as a business owner, I also still have to work. And so I need to be able to plan ahead and be able to plan accordingly. When I sold my house, I was booked up 3 weeks out already with my job. So having to maneuver how to, be there for the person that takes the pictures and the appraisal person, all those other things. And then the realtor that I had, he stinks. He did not help me. He did not prepare me. The numbers that he gave me and the numbers that were at the closing table were completely different. And not only that, he didn't even show up to my closing. I was like, is this how it's supposed to be?
Well, sometimes it depends on if, I know that for me, I try to go to most of my closings, but I'm not always able to go just because of scheduling, or I could be out of town, or my child could have something. But he definitely should have communicated with you.
He ghosted me at closing.
When you were at closing or after your closing, to make sure that everything worked out okay. You got your keys, you got your funds from closing. And it's important to have that relationship with your real estate agent. All of my clients will tell you that months and months after we close, I still check in on them. I still ask them if there's anything they need, and they reach out to me if it's something that they need, because just because we've signed all the papers, the transaction is over, does not mean that issues can't happen. And they still need to have a person that they're able to contact and say, hey, I need your help with this, and they need someone that is willing to help them. So I apologize that you experienced that with your real estate agent, but that is not how it's supposed to go.
I would have understood if he had if he had a family emergency, or if he had some other stuff going on in his life that he wasn't comfortable with telling me about. But if he had just kept me informed, like, hey, I'm not going to be able to be there, but here's what you should expect. And these are the things that are going to happen. These are the things that are going to, be going on. But when I get to the closing table and the numbers are, thousands of dollars different from what I was expecting or from what was explained, I even had proof of the conversations that we had. And so everybody's looking at me like, okay, well, what you gonna do?
Are you gonna sign?
Are you gonna sign? Because the new owners are ready to move in. I've already moved my stuff out, and I felt almost like I was about to have a panic attack. And so,
and like you had to.
I had to. I thought I had to. I didn't know I didn't have other options.
Yeah.
And so I felt pressured, and I was like, I don't know if this is how it was supposed to go. And I would have been okay if he had explained those things to me.
And that could have happened. And even if, since he missed your closing, if he had contacted you after closing to check in on you, then he would have known that you weren't pleased and some other things. So
nothing. I didn't hear anything else.
And that's why it's important to choose a real estate agent so you don't have to deal with things like that, because things like that cause anxiety.
Yeah.
Situations like that cause depressive feelings because you're in situations that you didn't know that you were going to be in.
Alone.
So,
yeah.
Well, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you coming on here to talk to me. And guys, I need you to do me a favor. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Go to my website for email me for a free buyer or seller consultation. And as always, thank you so much, Montoya, for coming. And as always, I would love to be your realtor.
My favorite realtor.